Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I wanted to make a hopefully really quick video about the recoil spring guide on the Zenico, or the recoil spring guide that comes with the Zenico B-33. I've got a few questions recently about is it really needed or can you just use your standard recoil spring? So what I have here, this is just a standard Russian AK-74 recoil spring, and in here of course I have the recoil spring guide, I should say, that came with the B-33. And this isn't too different from my response to those comments when people have asked that. The answer is actually, I'll take it out so you can see it better, but the answer is just that it provides more tension so that the B-33 itself here won't go up and down and, of course, completely shoot somewhere else that you're not intending to. Because even if it's a little bit of movement, it'll be pretty bad out where you're actually aiming. So, as I said, it's more or less the same thing here. Same answer is that is the case, but there is a few more things I wanted to mention. So, first off, just to show it visually, you can see here, this is the one that came with the B-33, so this is Zenico's recoil spring guide. You can see the bottom of, I hope that's, I don't know the actual technical term for this. I don't think it has a term, but you know, this little button looking thing here, it's ever so slightly angled down on the bottom compared to your standard recoil spring, which just pretty much, or I should say recoil spring guide, just comes straight out and then kind of angles upwards. So provides quite a bit more tension by having that at that angle. And furthermore, another thing I noticed is, now this changes depending on what recoil spring guide you have based on what country it's from, but in my case, again, this one's Russian. If I put this in here, you'll notice that it doesn't stick out too much. However, it is sticking out and it actually is holding it quite well. So depending on the exact recoil spring you have, depending on the manufacturer of your AK, you may not need necessarily to switch out to Zenico's B-33. I still think it's a good idea to use the one that came with the B-33 if you're going to get one of these, but you may not need to, absolutely. But the reason I'm bringing this up is, so you saw, this is probably, would probably work. But if I compare that to another one, so here I have the recoil spring guide or assembly minus the end cap because I actually lost one of my end caps and I ended up reusing, so the one I would normally have on here, the Wasser recoil spring, is now on that Russian AK-74. At any rate, you know, it's fine. You just got to be careful when you're putting on these coiled recoil springs. When I tried to do it a few months ago, my end cap went flying because my hand slipped and that was not a good time. But I don't need the end cap for this because I'm just demonstrating back here. This is all that matters. End cap itself is irrelevant, at least for this. So all right, so if you'll notice here, it doesn't stick out enough. It is surprisingly still holding it, but I wouldn't trust this under recoil to actually hold it. It's if I just barely push it in here, I'm already able to lift it off. So I'm guessing part of the reason why Zenico provides their own recoil spring guide is maybe some of your guides would work. As you saw with this AK-74 one, this is holding it pretty well, but the Zenico one is definitely holding it better, and it just works quite well. To address one other question that a few, or actually, yeah, whatever. Anyway, yeah, another question some people have asked is if you buy a B-33 aftermarket, used for instance, and it doesn't come with the guide, are you just totally screwed? And at the time, when I got that question, I was like, yeah, that's probably not good. And it's definitely not ideal, but if that's something that applies to you, you could look at getting, I believe TWS, Texas Weapons Systems, I believe they sell just TWS manufactures a dog leg, which is very similar to Zenico B-33, but it attaches up here to the iron sight, which I don't like, which is why I don't have one of those on here now. But anyway, the recoil spring guide has a very similar design there where it kind of tapers off and is overall a little bit bigger in profile to hold it in place. You could probably buy one of those, and I assume you'd probably have to do a bit of filing on the sides, because as I said, it is quite a bit bigger in profile, but I suspect that would work. I can't say for sure because I don't have one on hand to test it, but anyway, whole point of the video is just, yeah, these are a little bit different, and they just hold this a little bit more securely so that it doesn't move and doesn't move under recoil and all that. So hopefully that was informative and not too long-winded. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any other questions, and I will be sure to answer them in the comments. Otherwise, take care, and see you all next time.